let's look at democracy in America today. We take it for granted. It's an obvious truth. It can't be any way other than this, that campaigns are privately funded in America. Which means we've evolved a system where members of Congress and candidates for Congress spend anywhere between 30 and 70% of their time raising money to get back to Congress or to get their party back into power. Michelle Nunn's campaign had this memo leaked from the Georgia Senate race, describing how she needed to spend 80% of her time raising money. In October, she's allowed to reduce that to just 50% of her time raising money. Now, as they do this, as they dial for dollars from people they've never met across the country, they learn which buttons they need to push. B.F. Skinner gave us this image of the Skinner box where any stupid animal could learn which buttons it needed to push for its sustenance. This is a picture of the modern American congressperson. As the modern American congressperson learns which buttons he or she must push to get the sustenance he or she needs to run the campaigns their party desires. They develop, thank you, as they do this, they develop, as any of us would, a sixth sense, a constant awareness about how what they do affects their ability to raise money. They become, in the words of the X-Files, shapeshifters, as they constantly adjust their views in light of what they know will help them to raise money, not on issues 1 to 10, but on issues 11 to 1,000. Leslie Byrne, a Democrat from Virginia, describes that when she went to Congress, she was told by a colleague, quote, "Always lean to the green." Then to clarify, she went on, he was not an environmentalist. So who are the funders in this system? Who are the funders, the relevant funders, the people who give enough to be counted when politicians think about which views they should shapeshift into? Well, if you look at the American political funding right now, I calculate the funders are about 0.05% of America. 0.05% that are being called. At most, that means about 150,000 Americans, which the internet tells me is about the same number of people as are named Lester in the United States, which is why at my TED Talk I called the United States Lester Land. And after the decision by the Supreme Court in McCutcheon versus the FEC, that number is going to fall, I think, to no more than about 35,000, which, as the internet tells me, is about the same number of people as are named Sheldon in the United States. So whether it's Lester Land or Sheldon City, the point is a tiny, tiny fraction of the 1% dominate the first stage of elections in America, so that America is, once again, a two-step democracy. There is a general election where all us citizens get to vote. But there is now a green primary, where the funders of campaigns get to vote. And to run in that general election, you must do extremely well in that green primary. You don't necessarily have to win. There is Jerry Brown, but you must, on average, do extremely well. And so that means 0.05% play a role in an election which eventually will represent 313 million Americans.